Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. Know who's ready for some fighting words. In this video, I want to talk about Alycia Baumgardner. So first, congratulations on your win against Mikaela Mayer. But this video is about who she would like to fight next. So she recently said that she would like to get her hands on Katie Taylor. I admire this, fight matchup. It would be a great fight matchup. I would love to see this fight, but I'm going to have to stop you. I'm going to have to tell you to pump your brakes on that thought. Personally, I feel like you have unfinished business with Mikaela Mayer. I think you need to go back and run that back with Mikaela Mayer. I think for you, for your legacy, for us, the fans, because we also benefit, we get to see that again and that promotion again, for you two to run that back. I feel like that was, I do hate that she won. I feel like it was a draw at best. It was a tie at best, but and I very seldom say this, but agree. But I do agree with Tim Bradley when he said, I don't feel like either one of them stepped on the gas in the end to differentiate between the two to really grab this fight and say, I am the definitive winner of the fight. And I agree with that. Wholeheartedly. I agree with that. So that fight needs to be ran back. She needs to give Mikaela Mayer another go around. For herself, for Mikaela Mayer, for us. We benefit if they do that. But for Alycia Baumgardner to say that she wants Katie Taylor, I do think there's levels to fighting. I think if Alycia Baumgardner brought to the table what she brought to Mikaela Mayer, to Katie Taylor, she would get washed up. I think she would get washed up. I will give her the fact that she has the heavier hands and she hits harder, but that's about it. I think she would get washed up. I really do. She didn't show enough grit and gusto in the end, like Tim Bradley said, to say, hey, no, I want to win this fight. I'm going to win this fight, and I'm going to now reach in my bag and pull another trick out to take these last 2-3 rounds. And then you look at somebody like Katie Taylor, who basically her whole career is like that. Like, she just fights like that. Like, round 1 with Katie Taylor is like round 12 with Katie Taylor. It's the same Katie Taylor. She's been stepping on the gas. That's just how she is. Now, it could be the fact that, she doesn't have the biggest knockout power. That could be it. Or it could just be that she wants to clearly win every single round. And looking at Alycia Baumgardner, she took a few rounds off with Mikaela Mayer. And Mayer was in her face. Mayer was pumping that jab. But she took a few rounds off. She took a round off here. She took a round off there. Or she would take some time off here and some time off there. Now, where I think Alycia would shine against Katie Taylor, I think she's very slick. But I don't know. I do think she's slick. I think she's a slick fighter. And coming from, who's training her and seeing Tony Harrison in her corner, I see where a lot of that is coming from because he fights like that. But I don't know if she can do that for all those rounds with somebody like Katie Taylor, who's literally going to be like on you the entire time. Literally is filled with cardio. Literally tries to put everything she has in those punches because, again, she doesn't hit that hard. Or not to say she doesn't hit that hard, but she doesn't have a lot of knockouts. So she puts everything she has into every single punch. I think Alycia Baumgardner will give Katie Taylor, I'm not going to say a run for her money, but I think it'll be fairly matched up until those middle rounds, up until championship rounds, where clearly, going back to the Baumgardner and Mayer fight, she didn't show. I'm not saying she doesn't possess that, but I am saying she did not show that. And that's where I think the difference is going to be. You didn't show it. You didn't show that. Just because you have gold around your waist doesn't mean you have gold in your heart and you're a championship fighter in your heart. You didn't show it. I like Alycia Baumgardner. I think she's great for the promotion. I think she's great for marketing. I think she's a really good fighter. But if you're gonna go calling out somebody like Katie Taylor, I mean, are you gonna call out Amanda Serrano next? Like, if you're gonna call people like this out, then you better be ready to step up. You better be ready to say, I'm going to give it my all in those championship rounds, because that's gonna matter. I think Katie Taylor can put enough pressure on Alycia Baumgardner to back her down. I think Katie Taylor could put Baumgardner in a corner. I just don't know how long Katie Taylor could keep Baumgardner in a corner. That's the question, I suppose, for this fight. Because as the fight goes on, one of them has the cardio and one of them doesn't. I think we all know who has the cardio. It's Katie Taylor. Who doesn't have it? It's Alycia Baumgardner. Who has that pressure? It's Katie Taylor. I think just Katie Taylor fighting Amanda Serrano alone just puts her in another stratosphere in terms of skills, personally. And that being said, I just don't know if Baumgardner's ready for that. And I think that is a step up. Mayer, in my opinion, didn't fight the way she should have fought and the way she fights best. I think Mayer let a lot of emotion get into the fight. Baumgardner was doing a lot of talking during the fight, and I think it probably affected her. I think it affected her beforehand, because with all the trash talking, we can see who was getting to who in the end. In the end game, like in the beginning, it was clearly Mikaela Mayer who was getting on Baumgardner's nerves. But then in the end, it totally reversed, and it was Baumgardner who was working Mayer's nerves. You know, I mean, that's the reason why Mayer kicked Baumgardner at the weigh-in. Like, you just had enough. She's still in your face. It's like, I'm going to fight you tomorrow. You know what? I'm just going to kick you. Simple as that, you know? Like, so, I don't know. I look at this fight. I think it's a great fight. Like I said, I would love to see Alycia Baumgardner fight Katie Taylor. I just don't see how she wins. I mean, she could drop that hand. You know, she could drop a right hand and down Katie Taylor. It's a possibility. It's always a possibility. It's boxing. Will she be able to? I don't know. Katie Taylor is fast. She's very aggressive. A lot of cardio, a lot of punches. Alycia Baumgardner, not a lot of punches. But she's slick. She's very athletic. She's fast. And she hits hard. I think Katie Taylor would have more knowledge of how to maneuver Baumgardner around the ring to get her where she needs to get her. Because ultimately, she just needs to get Baumgardner to sit still and be a stationary target, because she is so slick. And once she gets her on those ropes, or she gets her in a corner, I definitely think Katie Taylor would take full advantage every time she manages to get Baumgardner, you know, in one of those two areas. I think she would take full advantage of it. I don't think she would hold back, and I don't think she would be reserved in her punches. That's not exactly who she is. She's not a reserve fighter. I just don't see Baumgardner doing anything with Katie Taylor in the stretch. I think in the first 4 or 5 rounds, I think there's a high possibility that Baumgardner could catch Katie Taylor and she could drop Katie Taylor. I think there's a high probability for that. But when we look at those championship rounds, I just don't see it. I just don't see it in the stretch, in the long game. I just don't see it. And you didn't prove enough to me or many in the Mayer fight that you have those championship rounds in you. So I suppose that's the question. But with that being said, I want to hear what you all have to say. What do you guys think about Katie Taylor versus Alycia Baumgardner. Do you think Baumgardner is ready for that fight? Do you think she's jumping the gun? Or do you feel like me and she needs to run it back with Mikaela Mayer? Drop your thoughts down below. As always, I'd love to hear what you have to say. Please like, please share, please subscribe to my channel.